In the world of MotoGP, there's a name that resonates with absolute domination, almost like an unstoppable force of nature. Marc Marquez. He's an anomaly, a puzzle that even his closest rivals, including his own younger brother, Alex Marquez, throw up their hands and acknowledge his greatness. While the alien from Cervera is in the midst of recovering from an injury that rocked his season, the vacant factory Ducati seat has unexpectedly summoned a fresh face from the WSBK garage. Nicolo Bulega, the runner-up who's just been shining brightly, now stands on the cusp of the premier class, astride the bike left behind by a living legend. A debut that's not just a test of speed, but a trial of mental fortitude under the shadow of Marc Marquez's greatness. How can one champion be so impossibly hard to beat? And can this new generation, debuting in the midst of a crisis, prove that the future of MotoGP has arrived? Before we dive into an in-depth analysis of the mystery behind Marquez's greatness and Bulega's sensational debut, don't forget to show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing. Turn on notifications too so you never miss the hottest analyses straight from the Motog paddock. The perspective of a brother who's also his nearest rival on the track often delivers the sharpest, most honest insight. Alex Marquez, in an admission brimming with respect, explains why Marc Marquez is such a complete rider that he's almost impossible to beat, especially in the context of a world championship hunt that demands flawless consistency. According to Alex, Marc's strength doesn't lie in one specific area, not just top speed, not just braking prowess, or solely his tyre management. His power is the perfect synergy of everything. Marc Marquez is the very definition of a complete rider. Alex highlights that Marc has the technical ability to push his bike right to the absolute limit, yet with a far narrower margin for error than anyone else. This manifests in those iconic saves he pulls off, moments that make crashing look like a deliberate piece of choreography. You might beat him on a given occasion, Alex says, but to be better than him overall, across a season, is incredibly difficult. Marc has an innate gift for understanding his bike's limits far quicker than anyone else. He can force a stiff, high-powered prototype to do things it shouldn't be capable of, especially mid-race when tyre pressures and wear are at their peak. This balance between aggression and control is a rare skill that sets him apart. Beyond the technical side, Alex also emphasizes Marc's impenetrable mental game. Marc is a master manipulator of pressure. He doesn't just go fast, he uses that speed to systematically drain the energy and focus of his rivals. He always pushes you to your absolute maximum, Alex says. Marc Marquez races as if every lap is a qualifying session, a mindset that forces his opponents into a choice: try to keep up and risk crashing, or back off and accept defeat. Over the course of a season, it's this relentless high-pressure consistency that sees Marc claiming victories, even when his bike might not be the outright best. Marc Marquez doesn't wait for opponents to make mistakes. He forces those mistakes to happen. Alex Marquez's own experience provides irrefutable proof of his brother's dominance. To compete with Marc, Alex admits he had to change his entire approach. At the start of the season, I was hardly crashing, Alex explains. After 5 races, I started crashing because that was the only way to find the bike's limit and compete with him. It's a striking admission. Alex realized that playing it safe would only keep him further from Marc's level. To get close to the alien, he had to take the same risks, even if it meant falling more often. Yet the crucial difference lies here. Where Alex crashes, Marc often saves the bike. This shows that Marc operates at the same limit, but with a far superior technical safety net and instinct. Facing a rival of Marc's caliber, Alex says a rider has only 2 options: envy or learn. Alex chose the latter. For him, racing against one of the greatest riders in history isn't a personal defeat, but an honor. This outlook, using Marc's dominance as a benchmark for self-improvement, underscores just how profoundly Marc shapes the mentality of the riders around him. Marc's greatness extends off the track too, including his ability to work with the team and keep focus on long-term goals. He can build a bike around himself, deliver pinpoint technical feedback, and keep team morale sky high. Even though Marc was sidelined by injury, ironically opening the door for Nicolo Bulega, his legacy of domination remains the standard every rider must reach. His presence in the paddock, even on last year's spec bike, shifts the entire competitive dynamic, proving that Marquez is a phenomenon who relies not just on machinery, but on track intelligence. While the racing world is busy unpicking the mystery of Marc Marquez's immortality, on the other side of the paddock, a new narrative is taking shape. Marquez's injury created a gap in the factory Ducati team, and that gap is now filled by a rider at the peak of his form in World Superbike, WSBK, Nicolo Bulega. Nicolo Bulega runner-up in the 2025 World SBK Championship with Aruba.it Racing Ducati, isn't a stranger to the Grand Prix paddock, though he spent most of his career in Moto3 and Moto2 before switching to WSBK. His success in World SBK made him the ideal candidate for promotion, aligning with Ducati's long-term plan to see him as a future asset. Bulega was invited to take his first MotoGP test aboard the Ducati Desmosedici GP, reportedly the bike used by Marquez, the GP25, at the Jerez circuit. This moment marked his return to the prototype racing environment after some time away. Why Bulega? Ducati's decision to call up Bulega, rather than continuing to rely on test rider Michele Pirro for the remainder of the season, is a clever strategic move. 1. Long-term potential. Ducati wants to evaluate Bulega in a real MotoGP setting. If he impresses, he could be a strong option for a satellite team seat in 2027 or even sooner. 2. WSBK form. Bulega has already proven his speed and familiarity with Ducati machinery, albeit in superbike format. 3. Need for a fast competitor. With Marquez absent, Ducati needs a rider who can deliver valuable data and potential points, something hard to achieve with Pirro, whose focus is testing. The private Jerez test was Bulega's first proving ground. Although Ducati didn't release official lap times, reports from Italy suggest Bulega was extremely quick. In the 35 laps he completed, Bulega is said to have posted times in the 1 minute 38 second range. That's significantly faster than the competitor test riders, Pol Espargaro, KTM, and Lorenzo Savadori, Aprilia, who were also at Jerez at the time. This instant pace stunned many, showing that the transition from a WSBK bike to a MotoGP prototype went far more smoothly than expected. The test results quickly convinced Ducati. Bulega was officially announced as Marc Marquez's replacement for the final 2 races of the 2025 season in Portimao, Portugal, and Valencia. This is a golden opportunity for the Italian rider, a debut in the sport every racer dreams of. Yet behind the excitement lies immense pressure. Bulega himself admits that stepping in for Marc Marquez carries huge risk. The risk of embarrassing myself is massive, Bulega says. He knows every lap he rides will be compared, not just to the riders around him, but to the Marc Marquez he's replacing. Bulega will be on a World Championship winning bike, and expectations for instant performance will be sky high. Bulega says he'll approach the experience calmly and without lofty expectations, especially since he's only tested the bike at one circuit. He's focused on enjoying the moment and giving his best, but the fact that he feels the need to say he's afraid of embarrassing himself reveals just how towering Marc Marquez's shadow is. Bulega's debut in Portimao and Valencia isn't just about speed, it's about mental adaptation to the far more intense pressure of the Premier class compared to WSBK. If he can hold his own under that pressure and post solid results, he'll prove he's not just a fast superbike rider, but a genuine MotoGP talent. Drop your comments below and let's keep this heated discussion going.